When you ask someone what their favorite story from the Bible might be, I think many people would point to one of the parables, any one, and say that that was their favorite. These parables that Jesus uses to teach complex truths of the faith, which, makes sense because that's the whole point of parables. It's to be memorable. It's to make something complicated easier to understand for a large amount of people. But what I find so interesting about our gospel today is the part right after the parable, where Jesus kind of just breaks it down and teaches the apostles exactly what the symbolism of the parable means. Matthew in his gospel is kind of giving us this insight into what life must have been like as an apostle, by giving us the opportunity to feel like, we are right there with Jesus and the apostles when no one else is around. And the first thing that, kind of strikes me about this first question that the apostles ask Jesus, it depends on how you stress the word, right? It's not just why do you speak to them in parables, it's why do you speak to them in parables? And the only reason to ask a question like that is if it's not the normal way that Jesus teaches. Think about it from the perspective of the apostles where, they're traveling and spending day and night with Jesus all their time, and most of that time, they're alone with him. He's not always teaching a crowd. A lot of that time is just going to be one-on-one with the apostles and Jesus. So he's teaching them probably more than anybody else. And now that he is around other people, he's changing the style of how he's teaching to this parable style. And so, when he's with them alone, he doesn't feel the need to use parables. He just teaches them the truth straight away, which probably looks a lot more like the second version of the telling of the parable, where he's now explaining all the symbols of each one. I think this is an important insight for us, the hearers of this gospel, to learn with this specific parable, because it's the whole point of what this parable is talking about. When Jesus is going out to the world to teach and spread the good news, he's going out to sow the seed of faith. He's the sower. He doesn't discriminate and only tell the people that he thinks are going to be the best disciples. He sows the seed generally and generously to teaching anybody who will listen to him. But not everybody is the same. Therefore, not all the soil is the same. He describes the different kinds of soil, whether it be, the seed that falls on the path, or the shallow soil because of the rocky ground, or thorns that choke the life of the seed. And of course, Jesus explains the results of those soils better than I ever could, so I won't try. But it stresses that there's a difference between the crowd and the apostles. And that difference is how prepared they are to receive the truth. So the apostles have already done the necessary work and cultivated that spark of faith in their hearts, so that then now they're able to actually handle hearing the truth, to accept it, to understand it on a deeper level. And that is why Jesus said that to whoever has more, more will still be given. And whoever does not, even what he has will be taken away. So when we're struggling, with doubts of our faith, or, we aren't understanding a certain truth that the church teaches as divinely revealed in doctrine, maybe we have to stop looking outward and trying to find, something else to satiate ourselves, or some kind of other truth that we like better. Because there is no other truth. Truth is objective. There is only one truth. And our good and loving God is trying to sow that seed of truth generously. So maybe the problem is that we shouldn't be looking outward, but we should be looking inward to our own heart. Maybe we need to do the work necessary to prepare our heart better to not only receive the truth, but to allow it into our hearts deeply, where we can accept it and understand it. Which means we have to do the work. We have to do the work of digging up the path We have to do the work of excavating the ground of the stones. We have to clear out all the weeds and the thorns. All of these things that amount to, the worldly anxieties that prevent our heart from being good, fertile soil to receive that truth from our God. And so once we have received that seed of faith and truth into our hearts, it doesn't stop there. Then we complete that parable. We have to go and bear fruit. That way we become co-workers with the Lord, who gives so much to us every single day.